Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of our 4th Age Total War Dorwinion campaign. Before I forget, I have played a bit with the audio sliders, and so there was a comment on a video a couple of episodes back saying that the volume was pretty low consistently with my videos, and so I tried to adjust it, so let me know if that is making a difference or not. We're setting up on the battle for Tol Rune. This is the island in the Sea of Rune, and there is this settlement inside of it. It is unwalled, and it is held currently by, I think, just a single rebel unit. The bigger problem is that the rebels are setting up to the southwest of the city, so that's down here. Now, every time I've played this battle over multiple campaigns, this is what happens. The rebel AI will leave one unit in the settlement and set up the rest of them at the bottom of this hill, which makes things relatively easy for you. The only slightly tricky thing is, depending on where you attack from, you may not immediately be able to set your guys up right here. So we're attacking from the northeast, which is the opposite end of the map. So I'm going to set my guys up, or a bunch of them anyway, right here. And then the rest of them, or the few of them that I think will be needed to take the settlement, I'm going to set up, maybe here, I guess. Or maybe I should set them up over here too, so they can just come right in. That's what we'll do. We'll just take everybody and put them all up here in a pretty messy way. We'll just start the battle because we're going to need to wait anyway for them to show up. So yes, they're going to be down here way off in the distance there. So let's get the slingers running over. Let's get the long-range archers running over too. I'm not really going to worry about the settlement because they've just got the one guy. And I'll even take the skirmishers. And what are we going to need? We're going to need, I'll bring the cav down here for sure. And we're going to need, like, let's go with all of our infantry for the settlement. So we'll just send them marching up there. And what do they have in here? It's a single unit of axemen. This is basically the equivalent of the Dorwinion axemen that I own. But I think we're going to benefit a little bit from the backup in terms of the spears. And that'll be nice, too, in case a couple of these units get away from me. So we'll just go ahead and speed up the battle timer there. So this will give us a nice little jumping off point. As we said in the last episode, this island is the only place that is near us that is held by rebels. And before attacking them, we were at peace with the rebels, which meant that, theoretically, we could trade with them. So that's no longer the case. Every rebel across the map now is going to be pretty mad at us. That's fine. There aren't, again, we're not going to lose out on any trade of this because there are no rebels nearby that we were trading with at the moment. So I'm not at all concerned about that. The only thing is, once you're at war with the rebels, I think you're always at war with them. So if we ever were to expand to, sort of meet them or share borders with them, that could slow down trade, I guess, slightly here. So let's see how we're doing. Our guys are approaching the settlement. We're starting to sling and shoot. And they've got some Dorwinion foresters, spearmen. It's a very similar army to what we've got. The spearmen are going to be the biggest problem in the sense that we've got cav over here. And they've got like 2 full units of spears, maybe 3. They've also got some axes. So we will have to, be a little careful. I really don't want to lose another general, so I'm probably going to keep him out of this fight as much as I can. But the rest of these guys will just skirmish away. And so that's not going to be a problem. If we get into trouble or feel like we can't handle it, then we'll just go back to the settlement, because some of these guys are going to need to go there anyway to, avoid losing the battle. We could sneak a general down this way. Let's go ahead and hit the Dorwinion axemen. See, these guys are already very tired. This is not going to be a good charge, but I think it's going to be enough. They're wavering. Let's see, Dorwinion foresters or hunters. Let's hit the hunters. Okay, now they're routing. We'll go here. And if I can get them aiming back downhill, that'll just make it even that much easier for my own cavalry to hit them, or my own archers to hit them. And I'm a little worried about the Dorwinion foresters maybe sniping my cavalry, so we want to kind of push them. So the axemen are routing. Yeah, and those guys are now routing. Great. Okay, I think we'll just hang out here for a little while. We're not yet getting in fights in the city, so this is going to be okay. And the foresters are not showing any interest in shooting at me. As you can see, we've already got this spearman unit routing just based on missile fire. And our guys have plenty of ammo left. The slingers have more ammo than archers, I guess, typically. Alright, these guys are routing too. That's great. And these guys are attacking at range. Well, let's now hit them from behind. I don't want them to do that too much more. This is also not a good charge, but it's all we needed. So all these units are now routing except for that spearman unit, and they're probably going to rout pretty soon. What we're going to have to do is, like, hold the city in the event that some of these routers end up back here.
Press forward so the spirit of his army is broken too.
Alright, how are you doing? 43 men. So actually, we could turn with those foresters, which are a spear unit, and hit them. We're actually doing great at taking them out. So let's get the cavalry right over here. And I don't think we're going to need much of anything. Maybe, in fact, the mercenary cav can just chase down those routers. And probably just having our cavalry behind them is going to be sufficient to put them into wavering. Now, we're skirmishing away. It's working out pretty well. You know, the default skirmish mode works okay against infantry. But what we may want to do is, if we really want to get a shot off, especially now that they're uphill of us, we can just manually give them a shoot order and take them off skirmish. So here we go. Normally they would be skirmishing away at this point. Let's see, is that going to do anything? They're going to get one more shot, I guess. They're shaken. Alright, that took out 40, 39, 38, and that's it. Great. Alright, we'll give an attack order. So that's going to be all of it. Now, what we could do up here, this is going to be a little more annoying, I guess. Let's bring... Okay, we got our cav, actually. Let's keep him coming up here, and let's get our other cavalry just running up to the street. I think I'm going to try Hedgehog here. I don't know. I always forget. You know, like, if this is good or bad. What this is going to do, I guess, is maybe get him snagged on one of these units. We can't pull anything because I didn't bring any ranged stuff up here. So we can't pull them out of the square. But what I could do is bring these guys and put them kind of on the corner. And then if we just get them inside, like get one guy to set foot inside the plaza, they're going to react to that. And let's see. Just a little bit closer. And maybe do not pursue, right? We'll put you on guard mode. Okay, a little bit. Alright, we're going to have to give him a more involved move order. Alright. There we go. Halt right there. They're marching, they're charging. Okay, we'll get our cav up, and we'll get our cav up from here. Now, 98, we're losing. I don't know if this does anything against non-cav units, or if, in fact, it makes us much worse. We are losing heavily. Let's get our axes in. And let's see, we've got our Ravanian scouts. I mean, we could get these guys ready here. I think I'm going to get you out of Hedgehog, though. Alright, we're winning easily now. Winning easily. It does depend where you move the mouse, because I think this is... I think it's like per man, right? So some parts of the battle could be winning easily, some parts could be just winning or even losing, I think. Alright, let's have you go there. We'll charge in with the cavalry, although that's not going to be a charge. But that's alright. I'm thinking the mass of the horses... Oh, that is a charge. Very nice. Alright, and I probably don't need to bring my general in. Let's actually halt him right there. I'm nervous because of the spears. And, great. So maybe I shouldn't be, but in vanilla Rome, wherever you have phalanx units, not vanilla Rome, but like in the base game, the danger with them is that they can kill your own guys, I think. I swear I've seen it happen, where you charge like through a phalanx unit with your own cavalry. Let's say you want to chase some routers, right? And so you just charge through. It seems like the phalanxes can kill your own guys. Alright, we'll just end it there. So, I know this is not a phalanx, but I'm wondering if the same thing can apply. We've got a different formation. Maybe that is going to cause some damage. I don't know. I'm feeling a little chastened from my king's death in the conquest of Yar-Helkar a few episodes back. So let's just occupy. So you can see the population's really low here. So Hythe is not like an essential early capture, at least to me. Let's see what it's bringing in. Okay, so 371 trade is actually better than I thought, considering the population's quite low. I mean, it's under 1,000. Taxes 425. The mismanagement is going to eat up all of our, or almost all of our trade. And then, you know, you can ignore this. You can't ignore it because it is upkeep, but I will never understand why Rome Total War decided to go with this, where it makes it appear as though certain settlements are losing money, when in reality no settlement on the map is going to lose you money, at least in vanilla. I mean, mods can do things where, like in our case, you can have buildings that cost upkeep, and so theoretically, I guess, with certain mods, you might have upkeep costs exceeding the income total of a particular province. I don't think that's the case even in 4th Age Total War, where there is upkeep. I think it's fairly modest, and it's directly tied to land tax, which you see we don't have any here. So I guess what I'm saying is this has confused so many Rome Total War players, because they would say, oh gosh, get out of this settlement, it's costing me money. Well, no, what's happening is the game is just arbitrarily dividing up your entire army all across your kingdom, every unit that you have, and they're dividing up what settlement is paying what amount. And it's according to the size of the settlement. And so we're paying 623 from this settlement. So just don't worry about it, right? Like, yes, Hythe is a worse settlement in terms of money than Belligant, which is saying that it's making 4,343. But again, this is just an arbitrary thing in terms of how it's dividing up the settlement. So all of your settlements are making money. Don't worry about it. Okay, so what can we do here? Well, we can pretty much just do our typical thing for right now. We'll go on low taxes. Ultimately, we will get relatively familiar things. I don't think we're going to get anything special, no. But interestingly, okay, so I had forgotten this, but Hythe, the island province here, actually gets us really good stuff. It gets us all the way up to men-at-arms. Now, we don't get our halberdiers, which are going to be things that we only get on the mainland, I guess, in our homelands, but this is actually quite good. So I'm wondering, I guess this is a homeland for us, right? Because we get tier 1 stuff at tier 1. So yeah, that's actually pretty awesome. Okay, I'd forgotten about that. Nevertheless, we're going to go financial for sure. That means that if nothing else, we'll be able to train archers and scouts out of here. So that's very nice. But we're going to go financial because, as you can see, we're already doing a little bit of trade, right? We're trading with the Chieftain of Rune, who we made into our allies in the last episode. So we are all good. Now that we've conquered, though, we do have a decision to make in terms of how many people we want to leave. I'm going to see how the settlement looks with just 100 men, and it looks just fine. Yeah, I think we're going to just leave it that way. Now, we are going to eventually start growing it. The population's going to be tricky. And theoretically, I could leave this guy here to be in charge of Hythe. But I've got bigger plans for him because, as we said last time, we do want to start thinking about Dwarven territory. In fact, let's kind of aim down here. Because, let's see, we own pretty much right down to this point. I'd like to just see what the border looks like. We can't really get through up here. I believe this is all a sort of impassable terrain past this point. But we can at least maybe get a watchtower over here, or get a scout or something. Let's see. Can't train scouts yet, although I really should. I've been somewhat neglecting my financial buildings over in Belligant. But let's get another one out of Esgaroth. I'm going to leave you in there for the moment. And we do have, you know, some considerations here, because the war that we're still involved in is with Dale. This is up to our northwest, and they've got these two settlements. Maybe they will eventually capture, like, this orc hold, which is something we do have to be careful of, because we could get ambushed by a big orc army with champions and probably trolls and wargs. So this is a bit tricky to maneuver around. In all likelihood, I don't expect Dale to take this anymore. Similarly, they could go for Mount Gundabad, which is over here. They could theoretically get the settlement that's just to the west of it and proceed into Angmar, but they won't at this point. I'm quite confident, because I've basically reduced them to a rump state. But they'll keep training guys around Hjorth and maybe get up enough men to attack, you know, Dale and Esgaroth. So I do need to take this. But I also want to take Erebor at some point. And I would really like to take this before it becomes almost impossible to take. You know, and before we have to wait for a million years to get it. So actually, I'll keep that other spy training, but I forgot that I had this guy already. So let's go up here. We'll take a look at what the settlement looks like in the next episode, or the next turn. I don't think I'm really building anything important otherwise. Oh, there we go. We've got a Dale army coming down to the Long Lake. Okay, and yes, this is... Alright, so this is part of the reason that you don't want to leave armies in Hive. So this is a awful betrayal by the Chiefdom of Northrune. This is an opportunity, though. Alright, we got a marriage. Let's check that out. This is the guy who's on the boat, right? Blar? Blar, how did you get married at sea? Alright, we do have to get away from the rebel pirates, though. So, we do have an opportunity here. The opportunity is we can now take some of this land, right? We can take these two provinces for sure, and we can also finally get this fort gone. Those are both very good things. Eventually, I was happy to leave this as long as Northrune was going to play nice, but I guess they figured it out, right? They're not going to just perpetually remain at war with Dale, even though they are, but they're not going to commit troops to it, I suppose. They've realized that, or they thought, that they could take Belligant. Now, maybe they can. It's hard to tell exactly what they have. Definitely some Axemen and Warband. But we do have some nice troops in the settlement, led by a noble, and we've got another nobleman here with a half-stack. So I think between the two of these things, we can take them out, protect the settlement. Let's just check our news, and then we'll get into that. Okay, we've got another elf. So the other thing I'm thinking is, do we want to start attacking the elves? I think we kind of do. I'm sort of sick of this, and so I've been formulating this plan to use this as casus belli for an invasion of the Elven King's halls. This would sort of be a nice corner of the forest, maybe to take over, and I know that if you build up Elven territory as a mannish faction, you can eventually get some neat stuff. I think it's sort of a knockoff longbow kind of thing, sort of a cheap ranger unit-ish. They're not obviously going to be as good as like the Dunedain Rangers, but sort of a forester with a bit of ambush ability. So I'm happy to take this if I think I can, and that actually is a fairly big if, although it should be said that the elves over here are much easier to deal with than the elves around Lindon, which have some very high quality, extremely dangerous melee units. The elves in the Greenwood have typically a lot of bows, and so if we've got enough cav, we can kind of push them and a little bit take away that advantage. So we might train up a decent amount of cavalry. The other thing is that we've, got enough high tier infantry to kind of pin them, or we could have a bunch of cheap archers shooting at them too. So I think we could deal with it with at least this army. But that's not something I want to do just yet because we don't want to start yet another war, right? We have to take out Dale. I want to make this secure. We're at war with the dwarves. For now, we're trading with the elves, so that's just fine. This hasn't even damaged our profits all that much, having Esgaroth under siege. And having Beligan under siege. My gosh, we're still making 4,000. So, that just goes to show that Northrune maybe wasn't as valuable a trading partner as I had initially thought. Very good. Okay, so I guess we just got to do this. The only annoying thing here is that we have, you know, two armies that are both being led by family members. So one of them is going to be commanded by the AI. And I think that means we're going to lose a family member, basically. Now, they don't have a family member. And it looks like they've got a lot of Tier 1 and 2. This is just Axemen, Warband. They've got some cav. There could be as many as 3 riders. This could be anything. It could be a Tier 3 spear or even their great axes. But let's see. I think this was the guy I want to keep. He's the Lord of Dorwinion, and he commands a weird army that the AI would probably have trouble commanding. I mean, so is this. So I'm probably going to lose this cav. That's such a shame. But he'll show up as reinforcements. Maybe we can get out of here in time to do it. So let's sally. Oh, can we actually... Allow this army independent command upon the battlefield. All right, so let's just make sure we're going to get that. We don't want them to have independent command upon the battlefield. And... I guess I'll be surprised because I forgot to check what that hidden unit was. So we're going to sally, which means that the reinforcing army will be, I think, relatively close to the deployment zone. Oh, actually, no. They're going to be coming on the other side of the settlement. They're going to be coming up here. Okay, that's fine, I think. Let's move all the guys this way. I'm not going to really fine-tune it beyond this. Okay, great. Alright, I forgot how this worked, evidently. But this is hopeful news, because I was worried we were going to have these idiots just charging under AI control right into the enemy warband and axes and so on. Now, they may withdraw once they see this force. I kind of hope they don't. I would like them to stay on the battlefield, actually. Alright, so we can't get quite everybody on the field. Alright, there's 2 cavalry. And what's that third unit? It doesn't look like anything, like, unexpected. Looks like they're all axemen. A skirmish unit. Okay. Are we still getting out of the gate? Yeah. Alright, so we'll have to be a little careful up here, because if they turn and decide to go for that army, they could overwhelm it. It looks like they might be doing that. They're sending some guys over. Okay. So it looks like I've got my slingers coming out front. Alright, we've got 3 mercenaries. Let's come over here and see if we can pull them towards the settlement walls. Halt you. And halt you. And actually, the axemen should have been halted also. So we'll run them back through. I don't want them to get hit too much by the slings. Okay, so we're just going to be ping-ponging them back and forth in front of our ranged lines. Hopefully that'll be enough to whittle them down. Let's pull back towards the walls. I always have the goal of pulling them close enough so that the towers can start to hit them. I don't know if it doesn't work very often. I think they do try to stay away. Alright, they've got skirmishers. Thankfully, they don't have any slings, because that would force us to get involved a bit faster than I might like. Okay, mountain raiders are coming. Alright, this is our chance. Let's hit them. Now, their general is on the other side of this unit, so we're probably not going to get a quick general takeout. See, we've got our nice heavily armed bodyguards, though, cutting him down pretty quickly. 23, 20 men, 19, 18. Let's finish it, please. 13. We're getting hit by the axeman. I want to stay on this. There he goes. All right. Now, let's just push back through. I know this is not ideal. Let's go right here. They are war banding or war crying. Oh, jeez. All right, we got to pull out. All right, I just heard the fallback order. We don't have any other cav in this army, but I'll send the general up. Maybe we can pick off some skirmishers because they are a bit softer than my own skirmish units. So they're routing now. I am going to try those axemen again. I'd like to get rid of them. Yeah, the skirmishers here that Rune can train just have like long knives as a melee weapon, whereas ours are, what is it, the foresters, Ravanian foresters, have spears. And so that seems to make the foresters more robust in melee. These guys are really good for, you know, ambush, and obviously other kinds of skirmish. Let's see if we can maybe get some other kills. I wouldn't mind going after, like, this warband unit. Let's see, we killed their general, so they might be pretty eager to run. I am going to do the little rally to get the general back away, because the annoying thing about these units is that they run away. And so then eventually they stop and turn once you've engaged a few of them. So you don't get a really good charge ever. And we may be involving the axemen too. So that's not great. Alright, you know what? Let's pull, and we're gonna... Oh, are they getting stuck in now? Now you're getting stuck in, now that you're at the trees. I see how it is. Alright, come on. We can go for the warband, but now these guys are irritating me. They got 89, 90... So there's only 2 axe units here. Oh, it is so tempting to get rid of them. They're losing heavily. The skirmishers are losing heavy and wavering. I'm going to keep my guys in. Where's the general? Right here. Right, 52 men wavering. The axemen are shaken, but they're at 74. Alright, this is the general I want to keep. Come on, rout. He's getting out a little ahead of his men. Alright, they're now routing. And the axemen? Are the axemen routing? Yep, we're going right through chasing the routers, and there go the axes. Very nice. Okay, so with that, how many have we taken out? 49. Man, that's low. How can that be? 50? I guess this is not the percentage kills. This is the balance of power bar. Okay. How do I not know that after like 30 years of playing or whatever it was? Right. We got the warband. We can take them out. What I want to do is get this up to like 85 or something, so that I can then make sure that the army routes off the field. We already took out their general. So, let's see. They're gone already. Let's set up sort of alongside the warband. And when they come by, we'll hit them in the flanks. They're very tired. Our guys are utterly tired, though. And we have very small numbers. So let's get 15. You guys go after the axemen. Okay, so you and you, let's hit them in the flank. And as soon as we kind of hit them, we'll hit them with the other guy as soon as they turn. Oh, beautiful. All right. So I don't know that we're going to get up to like the magic number of 85 or whatever it is. So let's just speed it up while we take them out. And let's take you... Oh, whoops. You go after that, you go after that. 65, 67. All right, I guess that's all of them. So a decent result. I mean, obviously we did quite well in terms of keeping our armies together. And if we didn't eliminate the entire army, we at least took out some, you know, very high priority units, I think. Yeah. So took out some cav. Okay, so now what we want to do is get you trained up, but unfortunately we can't. Okay, so we will swap out you, and you. I'm going to want all, like, the melee-ish units. And then definitely going to retrain the mercenaries. Actually, you're still good. Okay, so we can retrain mercenaries here. I don't know if we can actually retrain the slingers here. We could retrain these, but I think 50 men is what they come with anyway. And these guys are so close to full that it's fine. So yeah, what else do we want out here? Because they're probably going to hit us with this army. So what we could do is just load up on archers.
Captain.
And get on to the ford.
Captain. Yes, Captain.
And everything else is retraining.
Sir, move out.
So we'll get there. This is not a full stack. It's not even a particularly great army, but this will provoke them, hopefully, to hit it. And what we can also do is add in another unit for recruitment. So I think I want... You know, I'm tempted to go with cavalry, but I think I do want a little bit more of a line. We've got 1, 2, 3... We've got 3 sort of dedicated melee units here. And inside, we're training up 2 more, so that's 5. So I do think I want another, like, an axe unit. You know, something that can hold up a little bit. So now we do have to worry about this, actually, because they can come down and hit Rathwin, you know, not this turn, but the next. And this certainly does put me a little bit behind in terms of maybe betraying my allies, Rovanion. I guess it's better that Northrune betrayed me now than later, though, right? I don't want to be halfway involved with a war with Rovanion. But let's see. I think we got time for one more battle here. And, you know, it is, as always, tempting to try to hit that army and grab Hjorth, but I don't really have the movement points for the infantry anyway. So we'll use everybody else. We'll knock you back, and this is a good governor, but I think it's time to hit Hjorth. So we will take out everything but a unit of Rovanian spearmen for garrison. We can't move that way?
Captain, Captain.
Seems like we ought to be able to. Alright. Yes, and so that's great. Everything's still happy in the city here. 110, and then one more turn for hosting halls. So this feels really vulnerable. I don't know if they have any siege weapons. It doesn't look like they do. So even if the dwarves figure out how to march, you know, the 2 tiles down to Dale, which I kind of doubt they will. Alright, we could go right back in. And they're standing on the bridge, right? Yeah, they're right on the bridge. So, all right, let's do this. We'll get up here, up into Dalish territory, and next turn we're going to probably be attacked by Dale, and maybe in a position to take the settlement the turn after that.
At your service.
We got a 93% chance of getting in here. Let's risk it. All right, we got in. There is a 16% chance that we will manage to open the gates. But inside the settlement, you know, this would be annoying to assault. So I'm hoping that they do pull these guys out and try to attack me in the field. That'll give my guys a bit of a nice advantage in whatever woods we have around there.
Captain.
All right, so let's see what they do. All right, we were going to check out the dwarven settlement of Nereg Zagil. We can at least see what it looks like inside. All right, hard to tell. All right, there is a big battle. Great. Okay, let's make a little save here. And let's do it. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 archer units. I think this should be a pretty quick one. You know, unfortunately for them, they didn't bring their general to this fight, so there's no family member leading him, and that means they're not going to get probably some significant morale boosts. Now, the thing I don't have, really, is cavalry. I mean, we've got these 3 half-strength units or third-strength units. And, of course, our general, who is... Oh, is he the heir or is he the king now? I guess it doesn't matter until the rout phase, right? But this is going to be made really annoying because of the trees. So, I don't know that I want to change too much, honestly. I'd like to go farther back, maybe, if anything. Let's see. Because they are attacking... So we're at the tip of the spear, kind of, and they're going to be pretty much right in front of us. So let's get like up on this hill. And we've got the watch. Okay, we do have a decent amount of bows. Let's do it. Let's just do this. I typically like to have my archers out front so that they can get slaughtered by the cavalry when I'm not paying attention. But they'll have to stay behind the shield wall, I guess, this time. Okay, so Dorwinion watch. Oh, we've got some halberdiers in the middle. I forgot about them. And watch. So the right is looking very strong. The left is also somewhat strengthened by the men-at-arms here. I don't think we're going to really need them. But let's just speed it up a bit. And I think the slope is not going to be very much in our favor because we're maybe a bit too high to really take advantage of it. But we'll see when they come closer. Alright, so they've got their woodman spears, which is a decent unit. You know, in some ways, when they can be used aggressively, you know, against light cav, they can be pretty stubborn. Dale Watch is moving up, but we're going to be all of a sudden, you know, emerging here out of the trees, and that's just not going to be good for them. Alright, I'm going to run these guys down around, and we're just going to start immediately chasing archers. Just that Dale Mountain Watch. Okay, they're going to go after my guys. Let's get all of the cav together. And then we can take out their general. So he's going to be going after my swords. And we're just going to leave the right or the left wing to do what it can do. Alright, they're bringing Barding Militia to shadow him. That's smart. Okay, everybody's lined up. Kind of. I don't want to charge through the melee, so let's just go. I do feel like we're going to get some cavalry caught. Okay, they don't like being sandwiched by cav. Well, neither do I. So here you go. We're just going to cut right through them. Alright, the militia have routed. Alright, swords, go down.
General flees.
Yep, and keep
Press
fighting
forward, so
longbowmen.
the spirit of his army is broken too.
Awesome. Alright, so he's not getting away. Okay, I think I got everybody that I want. We'll keep them just ungrouped here And yes, fight the longbows. Swords are going that way. Let's go down here. How's the melee going? Pretty good. We've held the line. The men-at-arms have not done much, but we'll send them... I guess we'll send them over here. Because they've been pretty stubborn over in this part. It's probably simply because they're fighting spears, who are just not dying fast, but also not killing fast. Man, though, I really like a nice line of battle. I've been playing a fair amount of Shogun 2 lately, which, in case you didn't know, is a pretty good game. It's like been a million years since I've tried it. I tried it once, but I've never been super into the period, I guess. Certainly don't know as much about it as I do about, you know, Lord of the Rings stuff or, you know, Northwest European history, that kind of typical thing. But I gave it another shot. So what I'm interested in, actually, is I'm interested in the, I think it's the Last Alliance mod, which is a Middle-earth mod for Shogun 2. And I've had my eye on it from afar for a few years now, ever since I saw that it was making some headway and had a, you know, a decent campaign map. And so, you know, I got Shogun 2 out and I thought, okay, well, I've downloaded the mod, but before I install the mod, I'll give Shogun 2 another shot. And then before I knew it, I was like hitting Realm Divide in my Mori campaign and getting absolutely crushed. And it was wonderful. So it's a great time. But the thing I miss about it is because it does use the Warscape engine, there is less solidity to the fighting. And it's very, very nice to be playing Rome again, Rome 1, where they had like the, what is this, the Total War engine or whatever it's called, which just really, in a lot of ways, knocked it out of the park. You know, this is the first game that used it. And the mass, the unit collision, it is wonderful, and it feels great to see. In Shogun 2, they can mimic it with the Warscape engine by doing, you know, unit formations like the Yari Wall, and so battles can be fairly compact, and you can get a sense of mass. And they do some really good tricks. I don't mean that in a denigrating way, but with like the audio and with the camera shake, when you're getting close and there's a cavalry charge, you do really feel it. But there's still a sense that they're not hitting quite as hard, that the lines are not maintaining cohesion quite as well as they would in Rome 1. We've got another battle here. So, you know what? I've got to run to work. So we're going to save this again, and we're going to come back and fight this battle again, which is fantastic, which means that when we beat them here, I'm hoping the army that retreated from Esgaroth is mixed up with these forces somehow. And when we beat them here, we should be able to move right on Hjorth and take it without too much trouble. So let's just save. But yes, it is, you know, Shogun 2 is a fantastic game. But the feel of the lines clashing in this game is just great. So just as a quick survey before we really call up the episode, we've got awful unrest in Dale. No doubt some elven spy stirring up trouble. We've got this attack in Hjorth as Dale is getting its forces you know, in our path. They're seeing the writing on the wall. We're going to make a move to knock it off, to basically get Hjorth for ourselves, and then probably push west into Framsburg and eliminate the faction. And then we've also got to deal with this, right? We're probably going to get hit this turn by North Rune again. If not here, then this army may be moving down towards Rathwin to threaten it. And then we'll have to make a tough decision. How are we going to defend both of these settlements with this one army? Bring reinforcements from Bern? Probably, but that's going to leave us a little vulnerable around here if Rovanion wants to make its move. So we're going to have some fun decisions to make, and I hope you join me for that. Until then, take care.